Welcome to the Unstoppable Force podcast. I'm Guy.
And I'm Rob.
And this week we're going to be talking about Stadia.
Yeah, just actually officially
launched today, right?
Yeah. Well, Tuesday,
the 19th.
Yep. And it's just the Founders Edition and Premier Edition.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the base edition that comes out in 2020.
Right. And I think it's kind of funny, actually, because we talked about Stadia in one of our first episodes, right? Wasn't it like the fourth?
One of the beginning episodes, definitely.
Back when we were recording this in my basement.
Yeah.
I guess we kind of made an upgrade. Now we record in a different room in the same house.
Well, we went up a floor.
Yeah. So we upgraded.
Okay.
But yeah, I think like between then and now, there's a ton more information about it, and I think people have a better grasp on exactly how it's going to work compared to when we originally talked about it. So
right, or how they say it's going to work.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack. A lot of reviews, and people got they got a review copy of it, and like all the major outlets have like put out their reviews now.
Yeah.
Because today is like the release day, so I think it was like I think it was yesterday actually. The reviews hit the internet.
Yeah.
So this is super fresh.
Oh yeah. And it's weird, like you sort of expect that some features wouldn't really be there, but if they're gonna review like this whole thing, like give them everything to review,
right?
And tell us like so they can give us a full review on what is good about the stuff we're gonna get. Because if I think voice chat was missing on the review edition,
and then like a whole button on the controller was missing.
Oh yeah, the assistant button, like it just didn't work. I think it's on there, but
well, yeah, no, it's out now if you get it, like if you buy it. But specifically the assistance button stood out to me just because I can't imagine it like not working if it's like the review copy, and also I would guess that the features on that would be rather extensive, right?
Yeah, I mean it's basically you can do a bunch of stuff with it, like
it's like voice commands.
Yeah, like on Google Assistant, you can.
It's almost like a Connect, back in the Connect
sort of
days.
I mean, it's like Siri, so it's like doing the same thing you can do with Siri or Google Assistant, because and you can just tell it to do stuff from your controller. So I bet you can like pull up games from it and search and do other stuff with it, so it's like kind of seamless.
I don't know why they didn't let people review that, because I would have messed around with that a ton and like seen what all the different voice commands were.
Yeah, like the potential, like the stuff you can get by using that you can't get with other games. Because I feel like if you can access like guides easier or just pulling up games super quickly, then you just go for it. Instead of navigating a bunch of menus, you're just skipping over all of that.
Well, it's kind of like I mentioned before, Connect.
Yeah.
When you had that, you can like do voice commands to like turn your Xbox on and off, or you can be like, launch Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I don't know, Brotherhood.
Exactly.
Picked Brotherhood because it's been forever since the Connect's been around.
Oh yeah.
I don't think people actually didn't really like it that much. I know I had one, and like sometimes you would like talk and it would just think that you said that you wanted to turn off your Xbox, and it would just like turn off your Xbox.
I mean, in college, this guy had I don't know if it was Kinect, but it was like around the time they started having the Xbox Listen without the Kinect, and someone just kept saying Xbox turn off, and then yes, yelling yes while the guy's yelling no, just like screwed him.
So they didn't have those features.
Yeah.
But even without that stuff, I think the general consensus has been very meh.
Yeah, I think it's because we still don't understand who the hell is going to buy this.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. It's like, this is cool, I can do this, but it's not like I'm getting anything more than just having a PC or console right at the moment.
Well, and also on top of that, everyone already has an Xbox One. Everyone has a PlayStation 4 or a PC.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's something to replace, really, But to kind of go into some of the features, or what the features of it are going to be or supposed to be. One of the things is that it has a lower input lag than the xCloud and GeForce Now. So those are like the other two cloud streaming game platforms. And they say that they're supposed to have like negative latency because they run games at a higher frame rate than the 60 FPS, so that when they send it to you, it's like makes up for the I guess like the slower speed.
Okay, so it's not like it's trying to catch up with the frames then. Because like if you're trying to catch up to 60, it's gonna go and it's like, oh, pull more in versus, well, we already have it. If it drops them off, it's okay.
Yeah, so they're putting it up higher and then like only giving us 60, and then I don't know what they're actually running it at, but they probably have to run it pretty high, I would guess, like 70, 80, 90.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then there's also like I didn't hear actually about this when we originally talked about this. They have like some sort of like, I don't know, I guess you can call it like an AI, where essentially it tries to predict the next input you make. But the people who reviewed
like on a
it,
game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it's trying to like predict what you'll do next, so that it will do it, I guess, like before you do it, or like quicker than you would do it. But the thing is, like, people who did the review, they tested out, I guess, like whether or not if you like go to shoot but you stop and you don't pull the trigger, like will the game shoot for you? But it doesn't.
Huh.
So I'm not actually sure how it works. Like maybe if you just barely touch it, it'll then start sending the information.
I bet it just hosts. I bet it just sends parts of like what it thinks you're gonna do. So like not like the next step, but like they can kind of guess what the next frame of the game is going to be.
Okay.
It's like there's this video by MKBHD where he was kept downloading and uploading this one video on YouTube to see the compression rate. Mm-hmm. And he uploaded like 1,000. It did it 1,000 times, and it was just a video of him talking. At a certain point, the parts of the video stayed the same because it wasn't moving, but like he would move and it gets all distorted. So they could just fill in the sort of static placement of the game and kind of like pull that to you, so they know what the next parts of the frame might be.
I think it possibly makes like sense. It's hard to tell though, and it's hard to like test. Yeah, I don't think anyone really understands what that means.
Yeah.
But they're calling it like negative latency because the idea was that it's supposed to be like you don't have any latency at all. But there's been already tests that have come out, like comparing what the latency if you played on like an Xbox versus if you play on a Stadia, and it seemed like it was typically like around 40 milliseconds extra.
Like, okay, so maybe like their negative latency is like sort of like a phantom like latency that they're kind of coming up with because of them like trying to drop these frames that they're sending.
They're definitely working way harder than the other two companies to give like super low latency.
Because like doesn't matter. Like I don't really understand like if your latency. I guess like that if your connection has to do with like if you're gonna get killed by somebody in Call of Duty, I guess that matters.
Well, I guess
is that kind of what it's supposed to be for? Because if it's just like a single player game, what does it matter? Like if it's seamless and you keep doing and there's no lag or jittery like movements or anything, does it really matter?
I think you kind of came up with like a good point with like multiplayer, because I think that this is like fascinating because technically everything's sort of local.
Oh, like on their servers.
So like two different players will have maybe like, let's assume they have the same latency. One of them shoots the other, and I guess like there's not like it's not like somebody has an advantage, but the servers, like what you're seeing is happening slightly after what you're inputting.
Yeah.
And like you said, for single player games, it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Unless it's like a little too high, in which case, like, you know, you shoot and then you might notice like not shoot. Yeah. But with this, it only like an extra 30 milliseconds, 40 milliseconds. You're not going to notice.
Yeah, negligible.
But then also related to the latency and what you just said, actually, if you were to use the controller that they come with, or like the Stadia controller, it's supposed to connect wirelessly directly to your internet, so that it doesn't have to like connect to your
like
device.
Chromecast. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then the device connects to the internet, and then it gets sent to
Okay.
Google servers.
So you're talking to the server basically directly, and then the server sending the information to whichever device that is streaming to.
Right. So that like reduces latency.
Mm.
But the thing is that it's a $70 fucking controller, and not everyone's gonna buy it.
So Xbox controller is like $60 at
Nope,
least.
it's $40.
Well, now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. After a while, it goes down in price.
I guess. I mean, I think they were like only $60 at launch.
Yeah.
So, I guess you could argue $10 extra for the Wi-Fi or whatever.
I mean, I guess the basic argument is you're paying that price for a console effectively, especially like maybe not right now with like because I think at launch the controller only works with Chromecast Ultra that's shipping with the controllers, but on base launch in 2020, I guess it's a firmware update that they're gonna be able to use the controller with whatever Chromecast.
Wait, so do you have to like plug it in then in order to use it, or does it just like not work?
For like the Chromecast, I think you just can't use it because Chromecast only works through Wi-Fi.
Right, but I'm saying like, for Chromecast, but I can still play it on like my computer or my phone.
Right,
but then I have to plug it in.
Right.
Okay.
But I think they're fixing that on.
That's
on
what
base.
The firmware update's going to
be. Yeah, but I'm talking about if you have the controller and you want to play on your Chromecast. I don't know. Okay, it's like a console. So you're basically paying the $70 because base is going to be free. So you buy a game. You're going to buy a game if you're buying a console. So now you're basically paying for a $70 console with the controller.
Right.
So like you can't think of it just as a controller. It's a console that you're getting and that you're going to buy games through.
After 3 years, though, it's $360. Which what is the?
What do you mean?
So if you're because it's free, right? No, you're right. Because the base.
So yeah.
I'm thinking of it still as like the $10 a month. So if it's like $10 a month and you pay for that, I guess you like almost pay for a whole console in 3 years.
Right.
What is the how many years between Xbox 360 and Xbox One? It's a lot of years, right?
I don't know. I can find that out.
Because I guess you can run some math and say like if Stadia comes out,
yeah,
what is like the conversion rate? If I take 5 years to come out with it, or if like Microsoft takes 5 years to come out with its next console, and I pay for Stadia Pro or whatever, I'm essentially going to spend more than if I just got the console.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but you're also paying for a service for these games like you would pay with Xbox Pass, right?
Yeah, but I think you can, if you buy 3 years of, this is actually really, everyone do this if you don't know how to do this yet. You buy 3 years of Xbox Gold, you can then upgrade it to include Xbox Games Pass for $1 a month for every month of your Xbox Gold. So you will get 3 years of Xbox Games Pass for $1 a month if you get Xbox Gold for 3 years.
Yeah.
So really quickly as well, they're also doing like 6 months of free Spotify, 1 month of free EA access, 3 months of Nitro, Discord Nitro, and also 3 months, $1 a month for the Games Pass right now. So yes, that's all true, but Microsoft is straight up giving everything away to get people on the Games Pass.
And we're not paid by Xbox.
And they also have like 150, 200 games on there, and every game that comes out is going to be immediately up there. And they come out with like several games a year. They own like 8 different AAA studios. It's just hard for like somebody like Google to come in and try to like get up to speed.
Definitely. So I found that Xbox 360 was released in 2001. And Xbox One was released in 2013.
That's crazy. I was thinking it would be like 9-10 years, just off of like my memory, but it's even more. It's 12 years.
Yep. But
I mean, if we assume that it's going to be another 12 years between this console and the next one, which it probably won't. It'll probably be less, I'm guessing.
Well, they're coming out with the Scarlet next year.
Yeah.
So that's
How many years is
6
that?
years.
So yeah, it's probably. I guess we could assume like 5 years.
And are you counting like the pros or whatever the fuck they call them?
I guess not.
Like the slims and shit like that. I don't know what they
Got to
do
come out
over
with
there.
at least 1 or 2 new versions halfway through.
Xbone X, yeah. That's what it was.
But yeah, so there's definitely some weird things in that regard. Like, is it better than a console? Like, is it supposed to substitute a console?
Well, like the other problem that they're having is at launch they only have 22 games in their library.
And they're all like old games.
Yeah, except for like Destiny 2 and Red Dead 2.
But even then, those are still games that came out last year. So it's like, it's not like old, but it's like kind of old.
I mean, when you compare it to Mortal Kombat X, that's old.
Wasn't that the same last year in November?
I guess it is.
Same time as Red Dead 2.
I guess, but but when you have Destiny 2 and Red Dead 2 and other versions of the game don't come out, it doesn't feel that old compared to Mortal Kombat, where it feels old because the new version is already out.
Is there already 11. A new?
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Wait, no, actually, wait. I think it is 11.
11? Oh.
I think we wrote down the wrong game.
Nice.
My bad. Yeah, so it does have 11.
Okay.
But I like the thing for me.
Does it have Fortnite? That's all that matters.
Nope.
Damn it.
I'm actually now that you mentioned, I'm kind of surprised they didn't like team up with Fortnite, get that game on there. But I guess it's a free to play game. Yeah. But even then, like if you have Stadia,
you just have it so it's free to play, and then all the purchases go to Epic, and then Google takes a cut. They wouldn't want that. No.
I guess not. What was I gonna say though? Right, Red Dead, right? Like most of these games, because they're old games, if you wanted them,
you already have
them.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not gonna get Stadia. I just can't imagine buying Stadia right now and then looking at the list of games and being like, "Oh, I could get Red Dead right now on my PC and play it at like 60 frames, 4K." But I'm gonna choose to. Well, I guess like some people can't do that, obviously, but I just can't imagine choosing to either rebuy it or to lost my train of thought. Rebuy it or buy it for the first time on Stadia. If I bought it for the first time, I feel like I wouldn't be getting it just because I bought Stadia. Yeah,
that's true.
Some other weird games. I feel like Just Dance is an interesting one. It only works really on your TV. If you're doing like Just Dance, you're not gonna like play Just Dance on your phone. You know.
How do you play it even like when it's on your phone?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider. No one cares about Tomb Raider. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but people have not loved Tomb Raider much over the last 3 games. It's like it's always gotten like 77 on like Metacritic.
Yeah, but it's not bad. It's just
right.
Like,
but I have to pay for it.
I get okay.
You know, I just feel like I wouldn't really want any of these games. Like the only thing I think is kind of interesting is Guilt.
It's because it's original, right?
It's like their only original.
Yeah.
That's like literally if they had like 3 originals, then it would be worth getting. But they have 1, and it's like an indie game.
Yeah,
it's like $20 or something. I don't even know exactly how much it is. And then they have old ass games. They have old games like I think they have a couple Final Fantasy games, like some of the older ones.
Yeah.
They have like some weird Attack on Titan game, Metro Exodus.
The Wolfenstein Young Blood, which was not really received that well.
No, it was actually horribly received.
Yep.
It was like a RPG twist on like the Wolfenstein games. I actually didn't even know it came out. I was like, oh, what? I remember I was talking with one of my friends, and I was like, didn't Young Blood come out? I remember hearing that last year. And then we checked, and it came out like 3 months ago when we checked, and we'd never even noticed because no one played it.
That's how I felt about Battlefield
1 or 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. It was definitely a lot of flops these last couple of years.
Yeah, so, I mean, we don't really have to go through the rest of them. There's just basically that this is like, they're old games and they're not worth, like, getting the Stadia for, because you probably already have them. And if you don't have them, you didn't want them anyway.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I think that, maybe part of it is that they really just don't actually want you to buy it. They're like, hey, we have games because we can't release this without games, but we don't actually want you to buy it.
I think they're so like you and I have talked previous to this, but I was kind of thinking that this is sort of they're trying to pull like a Tesla move on us, where they come out with like the really like the high end, like you can only pay for $130 to get the controller, the Chromecast, and then you get the service, the Pro, right? And all the higher cost up front is going to help subsidize for later when the free version comes out and you can buy just the controller by itself. And it's just like they don't even know who this is for.
I mean, my best guess is like no one wants this right now because there's no reason to want it. Unless you're just like rich and you're just like, oh, I guess I'll just get it, because it's like, why not?
Yeah.
It's like I'll buy a couple games and just, maybe I can like play on the bus now. Or well, no, you can't because you need internet. You can only
it can only be Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Unless you have like a hotspot or something and like the hotspot has enough cell phone signal and you have like an unlimited data plan.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, because otherwise, let me play around my house like in every TV. But then you need the Chromecast Ultra anyway.
Yeah. So even then it's kind of weird. So I'm not sure. Like, it doesn't feel like it's being sold to anybody. And then they have all these features that aren't even going to be at release.
Do you think that they want to figure out what's wrong with it, possibly? Like the things they have to work through before they come to like the full version, that like the base version that everybody would probably have.
I think it's like a mixture of things. I think that Stadia is supposed to be competing with the next gen consoles.
Okay.
I think that's the whole point of it. And their idea is like, hey, let's get this thing out a year before next gen consoles. Let's get some return on investment up front with $130 purchases. And then over the entirety of 2020, we're going to turn on or like implement all of these features that we're supposed to have.
Yeah.
And by, September, October, November of next year, 2020, it will have caught up to where everyone else is at. And then like also, when a new game does come out now, following the launch of Stadia, it will be on Stadia. So like Cyberpunk 2020, which will come out like, second quarter next year, is going to be on Stadia. And then now there's a game that's worth purchasing that you don't own yet. Okay. So I don't think they're actually really betting on purchases of this beyond like experimental purchases.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, totally.
So it's like people who want to test it, people who want to like try it out, who just have the extra cash laying around to do it. Because on the other side too, right? You need good internet to even use this as well.
Yeah. So
like poor people, this is not in any way like part of it. The idea is like, oh, I only have to spend $10 a month. Therefore, it's more accessible than a $300 console to like people who don't make as much money.
Yeah.
But it's not, because you need to have good internet, and typically, if you're struggling financially, you're not going to have like 100 megabits per second.
Yeah, you can't even play single player games without internet.
Actually, I think the average in America, we wrote it down, is 18.7 megabits per second.
Yeah. And they recommend, I think, 20.
Yep.
Okay. So less than 50% of the country.
Yep. And it's like a bell curve too. So some people might only have 5 or 7.
So I'm saying average. So like 50%.
Yeah, can't even play.
Yeah. It's not, don't even have the recommended.
So there's serious like faults right now in the whole design of this structure. Like I said, though, I think its whole purpose is that it's supposed to be good by October, November next year.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, like I already like I'm upset that I have to play any sort of single player game that is always online. Like, why did you make it always online? It's so stupid. So now with this, you have to be connected online if you want to play a single player game, because that's how you're getting your game. It's not local saves.
It's like almost like the next level beyond always online.
Yeah.
It's like everything, no matter what, is always online. You can't even like turn it on without internet.
Also, so I just had, what happens if like Stadia goes down and just now like you paid for like, do you pay for like Red Dead and you pay through their like, do they have like a launcher that you buying it through, or somewhere, and then like you have access everywhere else, or if you have the game, you can like download it and have it locally. Like, there's no.
I think it's like
'Cause
an app kind of thing. Like if you have it on your
Okay.
phone, you like launch the app,
Okay.
or if you
And
have
it
it on like
connects.
your.
Because that means like if they go down, then that's it. Like you paid for a game, and you're never gonna be able to play it like offline.
By down, just to clarify, you don't mean like there was an outage. You
I
mean
mean
like
like done
in 2
for.
years they
Yeah.
go, hey guys, turns out that only like
Right.
10,000 people are currently users on Stadia, and it's completely and totally unprofitable.
Yes.
So we're just going to
Yeah, we
turn it
can't
all
keep
off.
the servers on. Yeah.
That would, yeah. I mean,
Like,
I think that they basically have to keep it on, or else they're going to suffer massive backlash.
they have to give you the game to download at that point.
Yeah, maybe they'll like give everyone Steam codes or something
Yeah. Yeah.
for all the games that they bought. It definitely seems like they either have to like go 100% in on this, or don't even do it at all, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think they're gonna keep at it.
Yeah. So like you're trying to get to like when, because we just launched it, right, and between now and the base like launch, they're missing features, and that's like a problem for people, like along with like the reviewers not telling, like not having access to tell us what's good. Now we're not even gonna get something that's that you're paying for.
And we didn't
that
even
they
know
said.
like exactly when most of these features will come out. There's
Exactly.
like
They
early
say
2020.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometime in 2020.
Exactly. So I guess we can go through some of that. So the first one is Stream Connect, which is their version of like a local co-op, right, where you can hop in your friend's game. Is that what it's supposed to be, or is it like actually?
So I'm not. When reading this, it was like a little confusing because it says basically you can play locally with a friend.
Okay.
But I mean, if you're in like a giant server room and every one of these servers is running these games, you're essentially all local, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of what they mean, is like the ability to, I guess, play like games that maybe would otherwise not work online.
So I think actually, so from what I kind of just did a quick search, and it says that it's a split screen view that will be powered by separate Stadia instance.
That's weird. It's like, I guess it's like split screen, but with two computers.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, because as I was kind of saying it, I think it dawned on me that it was basically like what co-op would feel like. Because there's like some games on Steam that me and one of my like big online friends play a lot of, that are like roguelike games and stuff, but they're made by indie studios, and the indie studios don't have like the funding, and they don't prioritize multiplayer support. But you can play those games multiplayer locally. Okay. So you can't like do it online, but so like this would allow you to play that game even if you're online. So like games essentially wouldn't have to do, it's basically like they wouldn't have to set up networking themselves.
Oh.
If that makes sense.
Sort of. I guess so.
Like netcode and stuff, and then like, you know, dedicated servers and peer-to-peer, like, which one do you do or whatever, blah, 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 blah. This is like peer-to-peer, but everyone's in the same fucking room.
Yeah.
So there's no problems with peer-to-peer.
Yeah.
Like if I have an Xbox and I'm playing, you know, Siege, and it originally, I don't know if you know this, but Siege, when it first came out, was peer-to-peer. So there would be like connection issues all the time, and people would get like just kicked out of games. But the reason why that would happen is because it'd be like running the server on somebody's computer, and then maybe that person's like, you know, not. Do you know what like an NAT is? A network. What does it stands for?
Is that near?
But basically, it's like your ability to connect to other people. So like if you have like a crappy NAT, like a moderate,
if it's not the same type, sometimes it's network address translation.
That's it. But like, so people wouldn't be able to always play, and there'd be these network issues and stuff. But essentially, since everything is technically local, and then they're taking the information and sending it to you, they can run things locally, peer-to-peer, and have like no problems with internet.
Okay.
And then same thing with, like I said, a game that the indie studio couldn't afford paying network engineers to like create a whole like system that allows them to connect and search for games and set up servers and whatnot or whatever. They don't have to do that now because Stadia will just do it for them.
Okay.
So I think that's what that is.
Okay, yeah. That sounds about right. So that's not on this. Basically, you can call it like a first run of Stadia. Mm-hmm. Let's call it that. I guess up until 2020, they don't know what's coming out.
Whenever in 2020.
Yeah. Then there's crowd play, which is what allows streamers to play with viewers. So if they're playing a game, they can allow their viewers to queue up with them if they want to join their squad on Fortnite or play in like an NBA, whatever, to join their team to play. That's not here either. So that's like another reason why this feels so empty, that they don't know who they're trying to sell this to, because they're not selling it to streamers even. You can't even do this. Now you're missing a big part of the market that you would have grabbed if it was compared to like like Xbox or any other console or PC. Like PC, okay, you can already kind of do like set up pretty easy, much easier usually, but not even like as seamless as they're saying it is, where you're whether you're supposed to be. I think that has to do also with being on YouTube, maybe? Is that the same?
Well,
I
think
that's what it is. So you can just go and they like invite you, and over YouTube you can just click to join. Mm-hmm. Then the game that they're playing pops up, and it puts you in a queue to join their game.
And then I think video capture, so you will be able to capture 30 seconds of video. Okay,
so like replays.
Yeah.
Like previous 3 seconds. But that's not on here.
Not yet. Sometime in 2020.
Oh gosh.
And it only goes up to 1080p. You can't do it in 4K.
Whatever.
And another interesting thing is that they were going to add eventually is the ability to, if you're paying for, I guess you'd have to pay for Pro. I'm not sure exactly, but I think if you pay for Pro, you can give somebody else 3 months of Pro.
Okay.
Which is like Buddy Pass, is I think what they're calling it.
Okay.
And that's not going to be out at launch either.
Okay, I feel like that kind of makes a little bit of sense, because like.
So you like pay the $130 now, and then like at some point everyone gets it. So then all those people, it's a smart move.
Yeah.
Basically, like every person who owns it when it comes out will then give it to somebody else who then gets it for 3 months, and then maybe. But even then, it's like you get it, but then you still have to buy a game on it. So at the end of 3 months, you can never play that game again. So.
Well, there you go. That's exactly how.
Right, they're like strangleholding you.
Can though. So.
Right, because of the base is gonna be
right. Free. So you're giving them the Pro, right? I think that's what it is. Yeah, the Stadia Pro. You're gifting them that. So then at the end, you can still play, because they say explicitly, if you choose to cancel Stadia Pro, you can play the games you've already purchased on Stadia base without a subscription.
Right. And then state sharing, which is another cool feature where you could like send people your save.
Okay, to play like a certain part of the game. Like I remember them like talking about like, oh, if it's a horror game and like there's some crazy like part coming up and you're like low on like supplies, like there's some intense shit or whatever, then you can like send your buddy it to play from that exact point and like experience what you experienced. And, like you can probably put up like codes or whatever. Like if you're streaming, you can put up a code to like access that spot, like a highlight. Yeah. Like if you put a highlight on your YouTube channel, then you can be like, oh, like you can go play right from here. Yeah.
It will be cool.
But like I said, that's
not out.
No.
And then like there's no compatibility with older Chromecast Ultras. You have to use the one that comes with it, or else it will not work.
I think they're trying to isolate this really. For testing. This is what it feels like.
I mean, when you boil it down, it actually, like, if you try to explain what it is to somebody at its core, it's like you're paying $130 for a controller, and you get a service where you still have to buy your games yourself. There's only 22 of them, and you don't actually really want any of them. There's, like, tons of features missing that are in normal consoles already. You have to have 20 megabits per second to play it. And the only advantage is you can play it on your like smartphone, because otherwise it's no different than playing on your PC or your Xbox.
Yeah.
And on top of that, if you play a whole weekend, you'll like accumulate 2 terabytes of data fucking using up your internet. And then if you have like data caps or, you have throttling at certain like milestones of data, you're just going to like fuck yourself. So you basically not only need 20 megabits per second or more, you also need to have unlimited data caps or
Mm-hmm.
no throttling to even use it. So it almost feels completely unusable for anybody other than somebody who's like, once again, like rich.
Yeah, yeah, it has what's the word for it? Whatever sort of wealth that they can just like throw away. Yeah.
Um, and then I think like mobile doesn't have like parties or voice chat, achievements don't
Yeah.
pop up.
Yeah, and that just I mean, with not like having mobile parties or voice chat, I feel like you're not gonna get like a full experience on how it's gonna
Mhm.
how it's gonna play because it like I said, it feels very isolated that they're trying to test it. Like they even came out like Founders Edition. That it tells you what it is. It's these people that are paying in to found this Stadia. So
Right.
then in 2020 we can get the whole thing, and it's like, oh okay, like this is actually the real thing. The beginning was not really. You're just putting in money. It's like backers basically, if you would
Yeah.
call it.
I think it's a good way of thinking about it. It's like a Kickstarter, and you're getting like a very watered down version of it now, but by this time next year, we'll have all the features, we'll have all the new games, we'll be an option for somebody who doesn't want to pay $300, $400, or $500 for the next console.
Yeah, I guess because you're paying like the $130, you're getting the controller and the Chromecast, and then 3 months of this. You're like, by the time those features come out, you're gonna have to start paying. You don't even know what you're getting at that point. I think
That's true too.
because you got the stuff, you played it with the way it is, and now it's like, oh, now the full stuff's come out. Now you can pay the $10. Maybe that's their incentive to keep people. Because I don't know.
Well, I think one thing that'll definitely be a big seller of this when the next gen consoles come out. I think I would have to double check this. Maybe you want to look this up. But I think there's like rumors that they're going to be even more expensive than the last gen.
The consoles, really?
Yeah. Or maybe they're not. I think they're a little bit more.
I did not hear that.
Just because they like have so much more going on.
Oh, maybe
in
we
them.
can. I think maybe we might have touched on this in one episode when I kind of mentioned that they're gonna like put a bunch. It's gonna get more expensive because of this stuff going into it. That's comparable to like a PC, right?
It's supposed to be like a 4K PC now.
Yeah.
So when like you're given the choice, $500 right now, or $0/$10 a month, but you still have to pay for the games either way. Maybe you'll go for the Stadia.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're like a hardcore gamer and you want to play more than 1 or 2 or 3 games or whatever, it's still probably better to just get an Xbox and Xbox Games Pass.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many fucking games on Game
From
Pass.
what I found, it says that the Scarlet is going to be about $400 to $450, which is not much. It was like $400 was kind of. I know PlayStation was $400.
I think they were both, right?
$400 or $500.
I think they were both $399, right?
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I mean, I guess it's $50 extra. But when parents, the time rolls around, maybe that's what they'll do. Maybe they'll advertise this to parents, not to kids. Be like, hey, do you want to spend $450 on your child's next console?
Though.
It's like, well, instead you can spend $0 and get Stadia. You just have to pay for the games.
So misleading though. Because like even when you buy a game, you think that that's it, you're done. You bought console and the game, and then you don't have to pay ever again. But now you're paying monthly to keep being able to play the game.
Well, remember the base, you don't have to keep paying to play.
That's true.
So it's actually like $0 for a console, essentially.
Yeah.
But you just like don't get a ton of features and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
So I mean, I think that's really what they're doing is they're trying to be like, hey, we're the cheaper version, the cheaper option. So long as you're paying for good internet and you have it available in your area, we're the cheaper option.
Okay.
Hopefully, fucking ISPs. Somebody's got to do something about ISPs being like complete trash, though. Our infrastructure in the United States also sucks. So something's got to happen there for this to really
Elon
work.
Musk, he already said he's putting out more of those satellites for the internet. So hopefully even more is going to come. Then we're going to get Wi-Fi from space, and then there's a bit more competition for the ground lines that are coming in. So.
And the other thing is, I as much as like there are aspects of Elon that make him kind of a dick, he does like giving
produces.
people
Yeah. Oh yeah.
get like something quality. Like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
not going to pull an ISP move and like give you, data caps and throttling. I would guess. I can't say for certain, obviously, but
Right.
he seems to be like this slightly more like morally aligned tech guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely. I mean, we definitely hit on that in our episode all about him.
Didn't we? Did we talk about how like he has like open patents on like all the Tesla stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
So it definitely is a little bit better than these like fuckers like Comcast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no, it's Spectrum.
Okay, yeah. Well,
because no one likes Comcast, and we decided that we had to reband our entire company.
Okay.
What? You gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say that we're kind of off topic now.
Are we?
I mean, we got to Elon Musk. I don't know how we jumped to Elon Musk.
I mean that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, we kind of went through kind of disappointing, I guess, until you kind of like even if you do realize that it's probably more of a
it's a long-term game.
Yeah, long-term game, sort of isolated release. That's not supposed to be like the full thing.
Mm-hmm.
That like I don't expect anybody I know to even own it or have it at all. So
I just feel bad for somebody who's like not intelligent enough or informed enough to like know not to get it. So like some parent might see it and be like, "Oh my god, this would be so fun to buy for my kid, $130." Who knows? Maybe like a grandma or an uncle might buy it.
I think you can right now. I mean, I don't know that it's not in stores, but I feel like it's only through the Google store online.
Yeah, I mean that definitely help, but I mean if everyone, I think it's like almost 50% of everybody in the entire country is buying things exclusively through the internet now.
Yeah, but yeah, I know, but like you're not going to PlayStation.com to buy a fucking PlayStation or Xbox.com to buy Xbox. You're going to like Amazon or BestBuy.com. Like I think this is just here. I don't actually know. I probably should look that up, but it's fine. Yeah, so I guess let us know what you guys think about Stadia.
Yeah, I mean if you buy it too.
Yeah.
Like leave a comment straight up. Tell us like whether or not you enjoy it, what your experience is.
If it's worth it. Hell yeah.
Yeah. See you guys next week.
As always, thank you for listening and following.
Check us out every Thursday on YouTube, Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are available.
You can find us on Instagram at Unstoppable Force Podcast and Twitter at UForcePod for news and updates.
We'll see you guys next week. And until then, stay unstoppable.